Multiple?
Yeah. So I was reading an article in GQ because it had a sensational title. How to make millions as a professional whistleblower.
I want to make millions.
And I'm like, I want to do that. Like, is Grant Cardone on this course? Or like, how do I get it? Right? Like, is this a Pace Morby course?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not Alex Hormozy, obviously.
Yeah,
Right?
clearly.
It's not motivational enough. So I decided I was going to read it. And the first 3 paragraphs said everything you need to know. And, well, I'm going to go ahead and tell everyone. I'm going to read the 3 paragraphs. And I'm going to tell everybody my thoughts. But I want y'all stealing this. This is my idea. I'm doing this. Fuck you guys.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
Richard Overum is not a member of law enforcement or a government official. Oh, Dick. He's something else, a rarefied practitioner in a line of work he's all but created for himself. Are you emotionally engaged now?
I'm engaged, yeah.
Yeah.
He did this by himself.
He hunts business people he suspects are breaking the law, a job that by virtue of the oft-overlooked sections of the federal law can end up paying remarkably well. I did not know this. And the act that this came out of is the Dodd-Frank Act. And I'll read more about that in a minute.
Oh, wow.
An act you and I know very well.
Yeah, I mean, it heavily impacts the banking industry.
Yeah. Who knew?
Mm-hmm.
So, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Tucked into the Dodd-Frank Act, which Congress passed in the wake of the Bernie Madoff scandal and the economic calamity of the late aughts, i.e. the Great Financial Crisis, are provisions meant to encourage people who spot signs of potential financial wrongdoing to come to the government with information. You dirty rat. The incentive? This is mind-blowing. If the agencies take enforcement action based on a tip resulting in sanctions in excess of $1 million. So if they fine a company in excess of $1 million, okay, the law says one or more whistleblowers can earn an award equal to 10 to 30% of what's collected.
Stop it.
Yeah. So if it's $1 million or more, and let's just say it's just $1,000,001,
Yeah.
you can get between $100,000 and $300,000.
Bruh.
Right? For just blowing the whistle. For doing what Too Short did back then.
Yeah, but you gotta be knee deep in understand. I mean, how are you gonna prove that it's over $1 million? You gotta really have some deep knowledge about a company.
Well, Saied, would you like to know how deep you need to go?
Yeah.
Would you like to know how lucrative this could be?
Please do.
Would you like to know why your next career should be a professional whistleblower?
Let's go.
Well, that's what the higher standards here for.
Yeah?
To lower your emotional standards high enough so that you can do this without having a conscience. Whistleblower programs were established as the SEC, a Securities Exchange Commission, and the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, to manage and investigate tips. And the calculus for awards depends on multiple factors, including the value of the information in making the case. But the payouts can be enormous. Me personally, when my payouts come about, I like it when they're enormous.
You like when they're enormous? Yeah.
That's an adjective that often is used with me, but not often used enough in my payouts.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. I mean, me too.
Yeah. They're not enormous.
Right.
Yeah, they should be.
It should be.
But they're not. Recent cases have rewarded SEC whistleblowers with $29 million, $38 million, and $104 million. Some asshole made $104 million off this shit.
What are we doing?
Last year, the SEC cut its biggest check, issuing a payout of $279 million to one tipster who reportedly aided in a bribery case involving the Swedish telecom Ericsson that resulted in a more than $1 billion settlement. All this person did was go, shit, that's illegal. Hey, SEC, Ericsson doing some illegal shit. Yeah, I'm going to give you some documents because I read them. All right, bye, click. Hey, whistleblower. Yeah? You called us, right? Yeah. Here's a check for $279 million.
Well, hold on. So how does this work if you are an employee of a... So that person's an employee of a company. I mean, are there no like NDAs? Like can you really just provide like
Whistleblower laws allow you to circumvent NDAs. You have no non-disclosure requirements.
wild?
Yeah.
So
If someone's doing some illegal shit that results in a big problem like this.
So this Richard guy, he's getting hired and then he's just
No, he's not even hired. He's going to dinners and shit with these people trying to bait them into telling him.
like, he's just every day of the week going to dinners and hey, you got any dirt on your company?
I'll give you some color. You want some color?
I want some color.
Okay, well, before I do that here. Between the start of the program in 2011 and the end of the fiscal year of 2023, so 12 years, the SEC has levied more than $6 billion in sanctions and paid out close to $2 billion to whistleblowers.
$2 billion to whistleblowers?
Overrun share. Okay?
Mm.
Just how much do you think he's made?
I mean, $200 million? I don't know.
Tens of millions of dollars, he says, between funds collected and those still pending.
Pending.
Tens of millions of dollars, Saied.
Man.
Tens of millions.
But this is he's putting a target on his back too, though. Right?
I mean,
like he's walking around like his shit don't stink. You better be traveling around in that bulletproof Maybach.
I'm just saying, dude. For some time now, Overrum has been compiling intel on Mike King, a real estate developer whose seemingly ostentatious lifestyle and possibly deceptive business practices have raised Overrum's suspicions. And so, under an assumed name, Overrum has approached King about making an investment with him, a covert attempt at soliciting more information about his assets and maybe uncovering signs of a potential fraud. They've been texting and chatting about the possibility of getting into business together, and tonight have decided to continue discussions in person. Overrum has permitted me to watch him work, but there's a catch. In order to not blow his cover, I'll need to be undercover too. I have to play one of his business partners, another potential investor. Of course, knowing my part isn't enough, I have to look it. For Overrum, sartorial embellishment is another part of the tradecraft, i.e. costumes. He has to look rich. In the days prior, I'd cobbled together my nicest pair of jeans, a tailored button-down shirt that was gifted to me 10 years ago, and I'd even gotten my shoes shined at the airport on the way in, but I needed something more. Have a seat, Overrun tells me, as he unzips a black backpack and produces two high-end watches. This is an Omega Speedmaster Dark Side of the Moon. Great watch, by the way.
Wow.
And this one is a Zenith DeFi Classic, he says. Let's see which one fits. I slip one on. It looks great, Overrum says. You'll do great. Are you nervous, he asks. Yes, I admit. But as I look at Overrum, he seems self-possessed, poised, almost. It's as if all this, meeting King under false identity, preparing to expound at length upon business opportunities he has no real intention of investing in, is just another day at the office.
Yeah.
And that's probably because it is.
So comfortable just doing it.
Yeah.
Just done it time and time again.
Okay, he says, as we prepare to leave the hotel room, time to go to work.
Wow. Just slanging Omegas and Rolexes.
Yeah.
Man. And who would have thought?
By the way, his real name is not Richard Overrun.
No, yeah, I was gonna say clearly an alias. Yeah.
It's a false alias he might use in the field.
Come up with a better alias though, you know? Like have some fun with it.
You want to know what Richard Overrun really comes from?
Yeah.
This is great. What I can tell you about Richard Overrun is that his name is not Richard Overrun. That's kind of the alias he might use in the field. Richard Overrun is a play on Dick Over Them.
Never mind. Amazing alias.
He tells me.
Dick Over Them is so
While
good.
we're together, Overrun used another alias, a moniker that I can't reveal because he's currently using it in yet another case, but I can tell you that it's also phallic. He uses dick jokes.
I love it. I mean, this guy, we got to have him on, bro. Come on.
So your aliases are all dick jokes, I ask him. He chuckles. That's right. Though not a dick joke. Mike King is also a pseudonym, so that's not his real name.
Man.
Yeah. So,
So there's a career out there.
So to put it in perspective, the vast majority of people providing tips to whistleblower programs do so only once in their lifetime. Usually they're at a job
Mm-hmm.
and they say this is wrong or I'm taking advantage of, and they blow the whistle once. That's
Mm-hmm.
their only. It only happens to most people once in their lifetime. They rarely get pushed to that extent, and when they do it once, and that's it. They move on.
Mm-hmm.
They are not, as Overum is, repeat customers. Over the course of his career, Overum says that his tips, which can include hundreds of pages of evidence, have led to various regulatory agencies, including the SEC, taking action approximately 90 times. An SEC spokesperson declined to comment on Overum's claim, citing the agency policy to not remark on the existence or non-existence of a possible whistleblower submission.
Mm.
Crazy, right?
Wild. That's good.
Yeah. He's even got his own,
Richard Overum needs to have a movie made after him.
and he's made this a business.
Honestly,
So this article in GQ of all
better
places,
be writing a book.
fucking GQ, he set up a way to contact him to recommend tips to him for him to look into for him to make more money.
Oh, through GQ?
Yeah. Overum has also created an email tip line that he operates, activist whistleblower at proton.me. Spreading it through his network of lawyers and confidants, lately he's been looking for potential targets on social media. Uh-oh.
Oh, let's go.
Lately, because what was he doing before? I was looking at targets in the news. Oh, man. If he sees people posing on Instagram with yachts, say, or cars that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars while also trying to raise money, he says bells immediately go off. They just seem too good to be true, says Overum. He notes that he pursues so many accounts focused on ostentatious living that his algorithm is now flooded with images of absolutely over-the-top lifestyles, themselves worthy of further investigation. I found so many leads this way, he says.
Love it.
This is a very long article, by the way.
I love it. I love every
very,
bit
very
of it.
long article, and I haven't even touched the surface of it. So if you think that we gave it all of you, not even close.
Yeah, check the show notes. Check the show notes if you want to dive deeper.
Yeah, it is a wildly long article, and I'll tell you, it's fascinating.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a full read.
And I'll tell you right now, I want to do this for a living. I'm dead ass serious, as the kids say. Dead ass.
Dead ass?
Yeah. Alpha.
You want to go? Let's go.
Huh?